Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge from the EV Geek Podcast. We are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, and today, July 18th, 2025, we've got a handful of topics to discuss. Honestly, this is just going to be the GM show today, just to be honest with you. So I'm not even going to bother telling you the topics. It's all basically GM related. So without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, and our first topic of the night, or of the day, whatever, is not about GM. I've already lied to you once in this show. Pray I don't do it again. Ford is finally launching a Bronco EV and a Bronco EREV. But don't get excited. I'm sorry, Joe. Don't get excited.
I know, because when I read the headline, it pissed me off.
So Ford has finally revealed a pair of electrified Broncos, a pure electric one with a 105 kilowatt-hour battery, and an EREV that has an almost 44 kilowatt-hour battery. But yeah, just don't get excited about it. The new models, known as the Bronco New Energy, which that should be your key off right there, they are China exclusive and share nothing with the Broncos we receive here in the US. These Chinese Broncos share some design similarities with maybe our Bronco Sport, but they're much, much larger. They're actually larger than the four-door Broncos we get here in the US. The all-electric Bronco is using a 105 kilowatt-hour BYD Blade battery paired with two electric motors, and the EREV is using a 43.7 kilowatt-hour pack paired with a 1.5-liter turbo engine. It's expected that this vehicle will be one of Ford's first to feature LiDAR for its ADAS system, and it's actually been seen in some of the photos that Ford has shown off. There's a sensor hump on the roof that looks pretty clearly it's a LiDAR sensor.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was looking at the notes. So, rule number one, don't take your phone camera and take a picture of a LiDAR system. You will have to get a new camera, and Sebastian found that out the hard way when we reviewed the Volvo. So I'm looking at some specs here. So it looks like, 403 miles on a charge. That's WLTP, so I don't know how that converts to EPA.
Probably like 320, 350.
320. But I'm surprised here is not bad. 136 mile range on the well, I know it's WLTP, but on the hybrid. So not bad. So
yeah, I think they said they expect combined range on the hybrid to be like almost 700 or 800 miles in WLTP range.
Yeah, but I am also pissed off because I've been saying for like the year now, if they make an electric Bronco, it would sell pretty well. So I don't know why this is China only. I'm assuming it's being built in China or not.
Yes.
So I wonder if they're partnering with someone over there. It makes you wonder for this.
Almost always, yes.
Yeah.
Almost any time you see one of these, especially Western automakers in China, it's almost always a partnership with a Chinese manufacturer that does it. Some of that's political, legal reasons, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, look at these pictures. It looks like what a Bronco EV should look like. And yeah, I'm just really pissed because we can't get him here.
Yep.
And we probably won't get him here for the foreseeable future. So yeah, love it. It looks cool. Like I said, it kind of has some Rivian R2 vibes to it, but I'm sure it's probably going to be bigger than a Rivian R2.
Right.
But it does have some Rivian R2 vibes. But yeah, pretty cool. And just, like I said, I wish we had it over here.
But Ford hates money, I guess.
Ford hates money.
We won't get one.
Yep.
That's not true, but
no. We love
Moving
you, Ford.
on. Now it's the GM show. Okay. I promise you I wouldn't lie to you anymore. Yeah. GM is giving EV batteries a second life. GM this week entered an MOU with Redwood Energy to provide both new and used battery cells for use in its energy storage systems. This partnership is expected to produce systems that are designed to offset the current electrical grid, increasing capacity for new, large load applications such as fleet electrification, AI data centers, and whatever else your little heart can desire. Redwood Energy is already using GM cells in at least one of its installations located in Sparks, Nevada. This site features 63 megawatt hours of capacity to support an AI data center and is believed to be the largest microgrid in the US. So I don't have a whole lot else to talk about this. This wasn't even a really maybe huge story, but this is an interesting topic to me because that's always one of the questions we hear is like, what do you do with the EVs in 10 years or in 20 years or however long, right? Like, what do you do with them? What do you do with those batteries? What do you do with the lithium? It's so bad for the environment because you can't do anything with them. Well, you can't.
Yep.
Because, I mean, this is the same, you can take these battery cells that, maybe your 60 kilowatt hour pack in your Chevy Bolt after 10 years is a 50 kilowatt hour pack for per se after degradation. And maybe you decide, oh, that's not enough for a car. Well, 50 kilowatt hours is a heck of a battery backup for a home or a data center or, a server rack or something like that. Like it could still be used just because maybe it doesn't have the performance needed to drive a car doesn't mean it's not, at a performance level that it could be used for, I don't know, literally anything else that you need a battery for.
Yeah. And this is one of those stories when you're talking about, hot topics with EVs. This is kind of one of the Redwood's been around for a while doing this. It's not just something that just popped up yesterday. They've been around several years doing this, but it's not something people hear about because they don't want to hear about it, I think. I mean, there are ways now to recycle and there have been ways to recycle these EV batteries. People still think they're just sitting in landfills just collecting dust when no, they're being recycled for, like you said, home energy use or something like that, which makes it the perfect option for that when you have a used EV battery. So yeah, I mean, glad they're parting with Redwood. Just another way to use EV batteries once their life has ended in cars. So pretty cool.
Yeah. And sticking on the GM battery train, GM wants you to know that they dream about LFP batteries too. So, not to be left out of the party, because I believe it was last week we talked about Ford. No, last week we talked about Tesla. Week before that, we talked about
Ford. Yep.
And both of their LFP plans. This week, now we get to talk about GM. So GM did announce their LFP battery plans. Ultium Cells, which is a GM joint venture with LG Energy, announced plans to upgrade its plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee for the production of LFP battery cells. GM initially announced they plan to spend $2.1 billion on the plant for EV purposes back in 2021, but now we know what that money is being used for. GM expects the factory or work on the factory to begin later this year, with the first commercial production happening in late 2027. Like the other automakers, GM is relying on their in-house production of LFP packs to allow them to sell even cheaper EV models, which I say that even cheaper aspect because GM currently makes one of the cheapest EVs you can get in the US, I believe. I can't think of anything cheaper than a base model Equinox right now.
No, not right now. And they got another cheaper one coming that we'll talk about later. So
yeah, because base model Equinox right now starts at 35, and that's before tax credit. Which, yes, tax credit's going away, but still, 35. I can't think of anything cheaper than 35. Not Model Y, not Model 3.
Not Model Y, not Model 3. Volvo?
No, EX30 is like 50 grand.
The new Kia? We don't know pricing on that.
We don't know pricing on EV4. Ioniq 5 and EV6 are still in the 40s starting out. Mach-E's in the 40s starting out.
Leaf? We don't count the Leaf. Yeah.
Yes, I guess technically the Leaf is cheaper. Although, yeah. So I guess there's technically maybe one car cheaper than the Bolt, or not Bolt, the Equinox. Anyway, GM's next step in their battery plans is now find a home for their new LMR, lithium manganese rich batteries, which GM plans to be the first to produce at commercial scale. And GM is still planning to continue to build its NCM batteries in its Warren, Ohio plant.
So they don't have, for the new magnesium batteries, they don't have a plant for that yet?
Not yet.
Gotcha.
But they still say they want to be the first to be producing them at commercial scale.
Gotcha.
Seems interesting. Anyway.
So, so looking at this article here from Inside EVs, looks like the next generation Chevy Bolt EV and one trim of the Silverado VB will be powered by these LFP batteries.
So they initially expected the LFP pack to be available in Silverado EVs for 2026, but they very recently took that off of the fleet order guide, most likely because they didn't have actual production lined up for them yet, is my assumption. And maybe we'll see them add it back later this year or whatnot. But yes, it was going to be the standard plus pack. And it was going to be a really interesting pack, and I was really excited to see it, and now we have to wait.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are probably wondering why we see all these companies moving towards just these LFP batteries. Because if you're not an EV enthusiast or geeks like we are, that is the main cost of the EV. It's not the building of the EV, it's the battery. So if we can make cheaper batteries, we can make cheaper EVs. That's the significant cost. So I'm glad that Tesla and Ford and now Chevy are kind of seeing that, hey, we need to kind of go all in on a little bit here on these LFP batteries, especially for our lower end cheap models, because we got to bring those costs down with the expiring or cancellation of the EV tax credit. So they got to find ways to make money. So yeah, I'm glad GM is following in the footsteps of Ford and Tesla with this, and excited to see these rolling out in their new cars.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's still a place in the market too for these non-LFP packs as well, you know, because LFP isn't a perfect chemistry.
Nope.
Like, yes, it is in a lot of ways maybe safer than some of the other packs just because of the way it handles like temperature changes and stuff like that, but it's also less energy dense. So you get less capacity for the same physical size battery pack and things like that.
And they don't do that great in cold weather and things like that too as well. And things
right.
Like that.
They do awesome like in hot weather typically, and you can charge them to 100%. You can really beat them up in that way. But cold weather, they tend to struggle, you know, some things like that. But they're cheap because they're not using near as much nickel.
Yep. Just critical
on the
minerals.
Subject of LFP battery packs.
Yep.
The new Chevy Bolt has been spotted. So it was spotted testing this week, and it is sharing a lot with the previous model. So for those of you who haven't kept up with the Chevy Bolt EV, or EUV that is, it was discontinued after the 2023 model year, and we were previously told that the new 2027 Bolt would be based on this model, but man, I didn't expect it to be quite this similar. In spy shots shared by GM Authority, we can see that the new car seems to retain the EUV's doors, glass, wheels, wheelbase. The headline design looks very similar. Around back, it has the exact same trunk spoiler, it looks like. The rear lighting signature is very, very similar to the outgoing car. There's a lot in common. I mean, that side profile is just a Bolt EUV. You can't
didn't even bother camoing the sides of the car because it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, they only camoed the front bumper because naturally the bumper will be a little different. However, if you go back up to that other picture and look at it, it looks like it's using the same split headlight design as the outgoing car, even to the point it looks like that DRL is the same. And you can see one of the only changes maybe
Equinox
is
vibe too. So in the front,
you can see it looks like honestly one of the only big changes is it actually has a grill on the front versus that solid plastic piece. It's interesting. Obviously, it's going to look different than the existing car, but it doesn't look like they've changed that much.
No, looking at the back now, it doesn't look much different. I mean, the lights look a little different where they're located, but
but like that spoiler is the same.
The spoiler's the same,
and it looks like it might still be using this stupid split taillight system and things like that.
Yep, it is.
So we are still expecting the new Bolt to retain the old Bolt's front-wheel drive only powertrain, but GM did previously announce that this new model will use LFP battery packs, which is expected to keep pricing down on this. So this should come in cheaper than the Equinox. So if the Equinox starts at $35, this might start at
$29,999.
Hey, I'll take it. You know what? We'll take it.
Sebastian will stay a Bolt owner if that happens.
Yeah, I just want to know we just need to see what this charging is, right? Because that was the Bolt's biggest downside, right? Is charging.
I guarantee it's going to be 150 kilowatt charging.
You know what? If it's 150 kilowatt and it sits flat,
that's 3 times more than what it is now.
More than 3 times, honestly. Golly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of as we nail down more specifics on this, what it actually ends up being.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, Joel.
I am kind of bummed. One last thing. I am kind of bummed that they didn't change it up a little more. I mean, they could have changed up a little more, but
I guess it makes sense. If their goal is to build this thing as cheap as possible, then it makes sense to just reuse as much tooling as you can. Anyway. All right, Joel. What did we drive this weekend?
Oh my gosh, what did we drive this weekend? Jesus. We drove a lot. We start off with Audis. So we drove an Audi A6 and XQ6. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I got that right. Holy crap. I didn't think I was going to get that right. So yeah, that's our first. And while the review's coming out, it's going to be a while. We reviewed a lot of cars lately, so it may be a while to see that review come out. But those are pretty fun cars. We've never driven Audis before. I mean, we've driven the Porsches and things like that, which are kind of similar. But I really like the Audis. Now I think about it, I probably like the A6 better than the SQ6, and you're probably different than me. But I just liked how the A6 was built and how it looked as compared to kind of the bigger, more, elaborate SQ6. But they were really fun to drive. I mean, Volkswagen looks like for right now, it's figured out some software issues that they had before. It looks like they've got that figured out and it looks kind of good. But yeah, we have fun driving them. What do y'all think? What do you think about them?
Yeah, so again, first time really driving the Audi EVs. However, both of these EVs are based on the PPE platform, which is shared with the Macan EV, which we have previously driven. And the Macan EV was pretty excellent when we drove it, and so it's not a huge surprise that the SQ6 shared a lot of the same kind of driving, not dynamics, because I mean it drove differently, but it felt familiar, kind of behind the wheel. I mean, incredibly well built cars. Software was pretty good. The A6 had the really cool electrochromic roof in it. And yeah, I'm excited for y'all to get to see those. It'll be a little bit before, maybe it won't be that long before you see at least one of them.
Yeah, we got a couple used EVs coming out still, and then we'll hit those. So yeah, probably a couple weeks.
Yeah. But anyway, excited for you guys to see those because, I mean, ultimately, those are two kind of new entries for the market, I believe, for this model year. And they're kind of just now showing up on dealer lots type things. And so I'm excited to get to share those with you.
So, yeah, I mean, we wanted to do a review earlier of these, but, we reached out to Audi of Little Rock, and they were like, hey, he was honest. He says, due to tariffs, these things are kind of either stuck at the ports or haven't made it to the ports yet. So that was probably a conversation I had with them probably 7 weeks ago, and they were still waiting to get them from the port. So, and they finally got them in, and we were going to get to review them. And I think maybe this weekend we're going to review an older, e-tron. I forget the model of that one.
I think it's just the e-tron, isn't it?
It's just the e-tron, yeah.
It was before they changed it to Q8.
What I was impressed, and we've talked about this with Porsche, is how much they were able to increase the range from their initial Gen 1 to their Gen 2 models. Because that's one thing Audi got knocked on. Like, hey, you're only building a car with 230 miles of range. And then we get into these, and it's like 100 more miles. Like, holy crap. I mean, they tweaked it. And Porsche kind of did the same thing with their EVs as well. So, yeah. After that, we headed over to our buddies at Evolve Auto, and and I got to drive a what, Sebastian?
You finally drove a Chevy Bolt.
And we realized something in our videos that you watch. If you watch our reviews, thank you. So I always wonder why Sebastian always drives in the reviews. And now I know why. It's because I can't drive and talk at the same time. So it was supposed to be just a real quick driving review, like go down a couple miles to an exit, turn around. I was talking, I missed like 4 exits, had to drive like the whole way around the city. It turned out to be like a 35-minute drive. We just cut it off at some point because we were like in the backwoods of North Little Rock. But yeah, so now we know why I don't do driving reviews and Sebastian does, because evidently I can't drive and chew gum at the same time. So, so if you're wondering why Joel doesn't get to drive, it's because 1, Joel's old, and 2, he can't multitask like that, like Sebastian can in his younger years. But I actually, that was my first time driving a Bolt. You drive one for a living. It was pretty snazzy. I mean,
you say that they don't pay me to drive the thing.
You drive one for a living. This video is sponsored by. No, I'm just kidding. But
this video is sponsored by Chevrolet. Hey, you know what? I'll take it.
You'll take it. If Chevy wants to sponsor this video, we'll talk all about Chevy. If you want to sponsor our videos, we'll do nothing but Chevy. We'll have a whole episode a week just talking about Chevy. So if you're out there with Chevy, let us know. We'll do full episodes for you. But yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was just, kind of fun to drive. It serves its purpose as an AV. Nothing elaborate about it. Nothing crazy about it. We did have the EUV. You have the EV, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and Sebastian talks about in the video the difference between the EV and the EV. It's basically just inches. When you're talking about size. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. What I was shocked with is how much room you have in the back seat of that car. It's a lot of room. I mean, when we got into Audis, my legs were hitting the seats. But when I got in the Bolt, which is, a fourth of the price of an Audi. I had plenty of legroom back there, and I was like, dang, this is impressive. And I think this Bolt was used for 16,000. I think he's selling it for
16, 17. Yeah.
And it only had 15, 17, 20,000 miles on it. I forget.
Something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't that much. And it was a really good deal. And actually talking to Colin this is the first time he gets a lot of Bolts in now. He's starting to get a lot of more non-EVs in. And if you want to know why, we did a whole non-Teslas in. Sorry, not non-EVs. God, don't know. No, that's all he sells is EVs. But he's starting to get a lot more non-Teslas in. If you want to know why, you can watch our episode that just released on the tax credits, and he'll kind of tell you why he's getting more.
Which we also recorded that right before you.
Which we also recorded down there. So we had a busy weekend last week when it was 100 degrees outside. But he'll kind of tell you why he's thinking of why he is diversifying his EV lineup in his at his dealership. So yeah, I mean, those were all fun 3 cars to drive. And we'll have content coming out on them soon. We'll our Bolt 1 will be part of our used EV series. And yeah, so did I miss anything from last weekend, Sebastian, or not?
No, that's about it.
Yep, that's it. You going to take us out?
Sure. That is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to the EV Geek Podcast on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, we are finally going to release a review of a Rivian R1T. This is a Gen 1 quad. I'm pretty pumped.
Yep. That was
finally
fun. That was fun.
Finally.
Yes.
So if you guys have any thoughts or questions, please drop them in the comments below because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.